What's going on, people over at the ESA Game Submissions, and to the people here on YouTube? This is my ESA Summer 2023 submission of Ratchet Deadlocked, the fourth installment in the Ratchet series, released on the PS2, but we are playing the PS3 version today because it's a little bit faster based on some loads. And what you're going to see here is a speedrun of the New Game Plus No LC category. New Game Plus categories have always done really well at marathons and stuff. It's super fast paced. Every Ratchet Games New Game Plus category is always very fast paced. You are allowed to start with the charge boots and all the weapons unlocked from the beginning. So I think it's a sick game, and I'm just going to talk you through the run, why you should pick it for ESA, and yeah, let's just get right into it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of things to talk about, so sorry if this is a little bit scattered. But also, this is my current PB. You can actually see I'm overlapping my own webcam here. This is my current PB, my 44-48, which is 7th place at the time. I only picked up this game recently, but you can be assured that I will definitely put a lot of time into this if it gets into ESA, because I've always been top 3 at pretty much everything that I've ran at ESA when I submit them and when I run them at the event. So I put some time into getting good and making my showcase great. And I can do a lot in a couple months for sure. I've definitely done that in the past too. So I would like to prove that once again. Now, we begin the run. And we start out with the dual Vipers. To shoot them into the ceiling like this, it bounces the shots all around the room and hits the targets. That allows us to progress further. Now you're going to see the charge boots here. The charge boots are the fastest way of moving, as I explained earlier. And we're going to use the Vulcan Cannon here. The Vulcan Cannon is one of, if not the best weapon in the game. It's pretty good. A lot of the weapons, there's only 11 in this game, but they are very well made and very balanced. We use them all in the run, pretty much. Even the shield glove and stuff like that, we use that in the run. It's actually very useful. So we just get through some cutscenes here, and then we're going to begin our first sort of area, which is the advanced qualifier in the Dread Zone area. So you can see right here, I did a flail cancel right there by using the Leviathan Flail. The Leviathan Flail is also one of the best weapons in the game. It's probably top 2 with the Vulcan. And here I'm going to do some movement tech by doing a falling neutral double jump right there. I charge off the platform, shoot right before I'm about to hit the next platform. It stores some of my momentum, and I'm able to clear that gap. I actually saved a lot of time on my PB in this area because I managed to get to the spider bot here at the end a little bit quicker than before, and it's because the bots that are right next to you, you have your bots instead of Clank in this game. They are very depthful, and you have to really understand how they work in order to be a great runner of Ratchet Deadlocked. They spawn to you every 10 seconds, so in that mission, you can actually do a trick called a hyperstack across that gap, where I was defeating the enemies, but that loses time because I'm pausing the game more. I have to wait for the bots anyway. So sometimes understanding when you have to wait for the bots or when to command them at the right time is a really, really big thing for the speedrun. Now, you can obviously see I'm just blasting through this. The movement is awesome in this run. We'll talk more about the movement later, sure. But here we got another skip on All Aboard the Landstalker. Basically what I did was just restart the mission, hold right on the analog stick, and press triangle on a certain frame so that you exit the vehicle. There's a few frames where you can exit the vehicle, and we take advantage of that here. Now this is the final mission of Catacrom 4. This is Rise Up. It's basically just like a 5-round, defeat the zombies, then defeat the ankle biters and stuff like that. You can see I'm doing jump flails a lot of the time. That's because it hits both the enemies behind me and forward. And you can see that I know where the enemies are going to spawn. This always spawns in a ring. And I know that this ship is coming at this moment exactly once it swaps from round 3 to 4. So just a little bit of prediction there. A lot of practice with these arenas. It's a lot about remembering spawns and things like that, using the right weapons. You can see I swapped to the sniper because it's the only weapon that can reach that ship and destroy it in one shot. So saved a lot of time on Catacrom. Just better movement and execution overall. Got that landstalker skip pretty much on the second try. I have not managed to nail it without restarting the mission once. Restarting the mission once gives you a great cue for that, but I have not managed to hit it normally, and I would like to get to a point where I can get that eventually. So right here again, you just get to this spot, stand in this spot, and then call your bots to hack the orbs, and you can see they spawned right next to me. That was perfect, essentially. You can clip through this door right here, but the enemies are usually really in the way, and if you start killing the enemies and stuff like that, and using mines, it can lag the game, so sometimes I just like to not do that. Now, here's the first instance of a big hyperstack. Basically, what you can do is when hyperstriking and going into the menu, specifically into the camera options, Ratchet resets his position to like a neutral state where he's got his hands up, you can see, and that allows you to keep hyperstriking through the air effectively. So I'm constantly using the hype. You can see it again used here. I go into the camera menu. I use a hyperstrike. I go into the menu. It resets my state, and I'm able to do it again and again. Now, this allows me to, instead of going all the way around to get into this arena area, I'm able to go into it from the back. And that completes the mission in like less than 20 seconds on the in-game time, which is a huge time save. Hyperstacks really did a lot for this game. And they're actually a really cool trick overall. You can store speed with it, so you can just charge off an edge and start going at it, and you have like a ton of speed built. It's a really sick trick, actually. So right here, I basically have to just wait for the bots to hack the orbs. It's a bit of a timed mission. It takes around 45 seconds. But I do need to pay attention here at the end of the mission. I need to pull out the Arbiter. And I think I do that in this run. I should at least do that. Once the last bot is on the last orb, I look down to reduce some lag in the pool. At least I believe I do so. Like that. So I line it up in the corner. Once the bot finishes the orb in the top right-hand corner, I shoot, and that kills the King Leviathan, who is the end trigger to the mission. So you basically just have to wait until the King Leviathan spawns and then kill him there. So these early planets, I actually love the early game in this game, which is great because a lot of games are known for having something like kind of obnoxious at the early game, but these missions are all great. Chronos especially is a fan favorite. Chronos has 6 missions. It's one of the longer planets in the run, but all these missions are so fast and so sick. And the planet overall just looks really cool as well. It's got this great blue aesthetic to it. So right here, I don't know if I get it in my run here, but I try. Yeah, see? So I tried to get on top of the arena here. So the main reason I want to nail that on the first try is the bot teleportation. Again, if I get to this area quickly enough, so you can see right now the orbs are empty. They're not being hacked, and I have to wait for the bots to get to the area. One was actually must have gotten caught on something and then teleported to me, but the other one got over the wall. So they meet here, they hack the orbs, and that completes the mission. If you get here really quickly, you outrun the bots to the point where they will teleport to you and get on the orbs immediately. So on this gap, I actually wanted to do what's it called? A flail cancel, a double jump over that instead of the hyperstack, but I don't think I had the space for it. I accidentally walked forward a little bit. So right here, we have Reactor, which is kind of like this recurring boss of this level. He dies in one rhino shot all the time. Obviously, we are ridiculously overpowered on this file. Or on this, we have everything to level 99. We're playing on the easiest difficulty. We are absolutely blowing things out the water, but it is fun to kill things in one hit, especially when there are this many enemies and in this many waves. It's such a great run. So right here, you're going to see an instance of a mine clip. Every Ratchet game essentially has like some way of clipping through a wall. Oh, that's a really unfortunate mistake there. You can actually slide over that little platform there without bonking by going straight into it. So you can see I'm going to try and clip here. It's definitely a little bit tough. And then you go like that. You go over the middle.
Do not fall down.
You go over the middle. I was very close to falling off there. You go over the middle and then you like kind of curve it in. So I'm going to try and get to the end here with a flail cancel like that. But yeah, just to touch upon mine clips, I kind of brushed over that. You effectively always have some kind of weapon in the Ratchet games to kind of clip through a wall or something like that. Some kind of mine or like a decoy or like a mini turret or something like that. And in this game, it is the mines. You can basically deploy a mine. Yeah, I'm going to do it right here. This door takes a while to open, actually. So we're going to clip through the door like that and then defeat these 2 soldiers here, and then that opens this door where we get to the end of the level. Now, I did this quite well, actually, so the bots are right behind me, which is great. If you do this level kind of slowly, you get punished even further because the bots will not be in a great spot. Yeah, so that's that mission. Next up is Shell Shock Returns. This is one of the easiest missions in the entire run. Right as you see the whole body of Shell Shock come over that door, he dies in one hit from the Rhino, which is a super good weapon against bosses. and then we just stand back and use the flail, and that covers all of these spawn points, literally. So it is actually extremely easy to learn. Now here you get to see some of the movement, which I really love. Here's a falling neutral double jump again, and right here I'm going to try to direct see, I was trying to direct my movement towards where the light was by doing a hyper strike to the right side, just so I didn't go straight forward and had to turn the camera and do it. So I'm just optimizing these little things with movement. I'm not exactly sure. I'm improvising a lot, actually. I'm not exactly sure if people do that kind of movement. But I'm kind of slowly figuring it out. It's possible that there are undiscovered movement options for the game as well. So I lose 30 seconds here from that death. But overall, I mean, it's going to be nice to have some cleanup on Chronos next time, because it's a really great planet. It's like definitely one of my favorites in the run. These exterminator cards are really easy to get stuck on, by the way. That one is like right on the curb of the ship. So yeah, you can easily like swing into it or bonk into it or something. I'm trying to conserve the momentum from the charge into the wrench swing to go into the ship. But I sometimes just hit the card. That's how it is. This is a Manic Speed Demon. This is one of the easier arenas to remember. There's only 2 ships, and then you have some box spawns at the end that I remember. And this is kind of a tough one sometimes. This is this is the Tower of Power, I believe. And then once you get to the Tower of Power, you have to climb it. So right here we have these ankle biters on the right and these turrets. The ankle biters are the ones that spawn the ship up here. I did get it. Very nice. So then we kill these 2 enemies, which spawns these platforms over here. We're going to flail cancel over to that as well. Basically, flail canceling is by charging and then swinging the flail and then swapping a weapon mid flail, I'm able to do this little slide forward, and if I jump out of that slide, I'm able to cover a lot of distance, which is really great. So flail canceling is one of the best tricks in the game. It's awesome. It's a super sick trick. So right here, I restart the mission just to be more on cycle with this. So I do a flail cancel there, and I'm going to do another flail cancel here. I turn the camera, line this up, land on the second platform. Again, you can see there is a bit of cool movement here. And here's a kind of a movement strat that I've kind of invented lately, is these flail wrench sideways kind of swings here. You can't really do it there because there's all these things on the ground that prevent you from doing it. And right here, I'm going to try and do that. I knew I was going to miss this flame cycle, so I did the movement, but I kind of canceled out because I was like, I know I'm not fast enough, which I hope I'll get to a point where I will be fast enough to make that early flame cycle every time. So right here, I know that there's these ankle biter spawns over here, and the mission ends right there. So that is climb the Tower of Power. Honestly, man, the early game's so dope in this category. Catacrom, Serathos, Chronos, and Avenger Tournament are all like really great. Char is really the first kind of like really bad planet, and it's maybe the worst planet in the run. It has 1 movement mission, and then the next 2 are kind of bad as well. The second mission in particular is known for being like the hardest mission in the run, I would say, alongside with maybe West Generator in the final level as well. So this is quite easy. You're meant to extend these bridges. This is so funny. I'm going back for this one just to explain this a little further because it's really funny. You're meant to kind of like defeat all the enemies, which extends this bridge, but we can just cross that like this. You have to hack the orbs in the arena, which lowers another bridge to the landstalker, which is the spider over here that you have to drive. Now, they just left the end zone over here just a little bit like too close to the landstalker, so you can just go into the ice and it'll finish the level. This is one of the shortest IL records in the game. It is 5 seconds long, and it's tied by like over 10 people. It is a great level. This one absolutely sucks. So here's Landstalker Stalkin'. It is basically there are these enemies. Okay, so let's start out with this. I'll try to not pause here, but I'll do it a little bit throughout here. So we're going to send the first bot onto that node. Now look at all these enemies that are here. These enemies are deadly. They have these shields on them, which only the bots can take down, but the bots have to hack the orbs. So the only other way to kill them is with the Landstalker, and the Landstalker walks very slow. So we have to do this mission on foot, which is tough. And there are all these enemies blasting us here. We have to be quick because one of the bots will teleport to me. So you can see right here, I messed up my movement, so I have to restart the mission. There is like a 1 second window or so where you can be clean with it. You have to go. So that was actually a little bit slow as well. I charged to get up that ledge. I charged to double jump right here. And I just hope that the bot right there jumps over the edge and spawns up on the ledge. That is very important because people are going to kill him if he doesn't get over the ledge immediately. Now, even here, I'm worried that the bot will die. It's super tough. So here I open the minimap just to make sure that he lives, and he does. That is the hardest part of the level, is just making sure that second bot lives for the node right there. It's rough. So my bot's kind of like fighting this guy, which is really funny. But he needs to get on this node. You can also do this one solo. You can get on it yourself as well. The bots don't always have to do this. You can also get it on it yourself. But it's great. It's sometimes better to have the bot on it and then you defend them while you do it. Overall. So this has another one of these missions where we have to hack these nodes. That's why these two are kind of rough. The second one's not too bad. You'll more have problems with having the bot in the right location, more so than worrying about having him die. They don't really die too often on this mission. It's just about sometimes they follow you in like bad positions, and sometimes they find themselves like far away from the nodes and stuff. Again, just takes a lot of figuring out. So right here, I place a turret right here. I only needed one, really. And I get up on this ledge, and then I do it myself, which is a little bit faster because normally that bot is not done with his node by the time he's at that one. So that was pretty good. I mean, I failed the second mission once, but overall, that is a very tough mission, so I'm not too surprised. Now we're coming into Orxon, and Orxon is a classic planet that's reused from the first game. And it has a variety of missions. It has a very tough node mission as well, which is so here's an interesting skip. So this is the Labyrinth of Death. You can either choose the path on the right or the path on the left. I've been having a lot of trouble with this clip for some reason, but it's actually not too bad. You basically need to nail it within your first 2 tries in order for this kind of weird bug. I'm not sure how it exactly works, but basically you send one bot to hack the node on the right-hand side and then one on the left path, basically. And so maybe the game thinks we've looped around the entire thing and then finished the level. So that completes that level in like 10 seconds, which is sick. That's a great skip. So this is node overload. This is like top 5, top 3 hardest missions in the run. There are these nodes placed around. You can see where they're placed on the stars. There's one there, and they are all over the map. And there are a lot of turrets blocking the nodes, so we have to make sure that the bots live on this one as well. And not only that, we have to make sure that the bot gets over the ledge at the beginning of the level, like, kind of smoothly as well. Otherwise, they will get stuck. So I'm just, yeah, see, so I'm having some trouble right here with this one. This one is really, really tough. I'm just making sure that the bots are actually on the nodes. Right here, I went for this ammo, which was actually kind of sick, but it's definitely tough to keep track of your ammo as well when you're running this, because ammo runs, it refills, actually, on specific missions, on specific landstalker missions or ship missions and stuff. Your ammo gets refilled. But sometimes you'll find yourself on a string of missions in a row where ammo does not refill. So you need to be conservative. And it's very important to know those as well. I'm still in the process of learning these, of course. And this is a spot I have a lot of trouble with ammo-wise. Now we need the bots to hack these nodes. And this is pretty simple as well. We just place down some turrets, and they mostly take care of themselves. So, again, just using more different weapons. Whenever we have something like this, the turrets do a great job. They kill the enemies in one hit and stuff like that, and placing down 4 usually does the job pretty well. I spread them around the arena like that, like this, and the bots take care of the nodes no problem. I really appreciate them, actually. So this is Chains of Villainy. Basically, we have to blow up these balloons. Like, we have to basically free, I believe it's the spectators who are watching the Dread Zone show. Like that. And here's the last one. We shoot the Supernova, aka the Rhino, on every single one of these balloons. And this was actually where I got my first untied world record in the individual level category. I got a 13, and then I eventually lowered it to a 12. And it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a fun moment of mine playing this game. The IL scene in this game is actually super great. It's a lot of fun running ILs in this game. They are so different to the full game. that you can get a lot of different experiences playing this game. And even if you're not that great of a runner in this game, you can go for some of the more common world records and then feel like a bit of like nice. Like I'm together with all these people. I managed to get this time. There's a couple of ILs that are below 10 seconds. There's a few of them, in fact. The first level of Catacrom 4, Valley of Heroes, is tied at 9 seconds. 17 people have the time. And it's pretty sick, actually. It's a lot of fun running Deadlocked ILs. So right here, this mission is very long. Static Death Trap. I practiced this one a good amount. You have to place mines around the arena, and it is the only weapon you have. You are locked to using the mines. The mines are usually used for protecting an area or clipping through walls, but right here we have to use it as weapons. You can see the mines are upgraded to the point where when they collide with an enemy, it'll spawn some smaller mines as well. And then right here at the end, the mission seems to end a little bit quicker when you just spin the camera like that. All of the enemies just die really fast, and I literally practiced this mission earlier. And yeah, okay, so missing that clip is not the end of the world because I need to wait for that barrier to go down. I can actually clip through that barrier, which saves a couple of seconds, but clipping on that sloped surface is very difficult on your first try. It's probably the hardest mine clip in the run. Honestly, it's very difficult. So right here, I send the bots on the node, and there's a third node over here. I try to do a little bit of movement, and I managed to get it on the second one, which I've actually never done before, so that was really, like, spontaneous. I'm like, I think I can fit this in here. And I just went for it on the fly, and it paid out. It was actually sick. So I just protect the bot on the node, and now we enter our first boss battle with, our first arena boss against Reactor. So I restart the mission just because I don't want him to run away. I can kill him with one rhino shot and then multiple hits of the wrench by being like kind of under his arm. And the world record for this level is 3 seconds, which I've actually fluked once in a run, I believe, which is really funny. It's really that easy. It's not really that hard to get that kind of time. I mean, it's very simple. So some of the records are like insanely difficult. There's like 89 ILs, I believe, in this run or in this game. And some of them are like very, very difficult. And some of them are like easy to multi-tie and stuff like that. So this is Valix Belt. This is one of the harder planets of the run. You can see that this mission, it looks very difficult what I'm doing. But basically, like, I always just need to get to the star on the map. The star is some kind of node or something I need to hack or the end of the level or an objective or something. So right here, I drop some mines just so that I can get... Because the bots are kind of slow on this level. As you see, they're not through the door yet. Now they teleport to me. So it's faster for me in this case to get on the node first. And I'm playing it a bit safe. I don't think I need to drop 4 mines. But I've just been doing it lately. So this is the first ship mission of the run, which I actually really enjoy. I really enjoy these ship missions. And they are fun to practice and improve on. Space Ace is the first one here, and there's one going to be later on called Escape, which I put a lot more time into than this one so far. But basically, I need to kill a big gladiator in the middle who's got this big axe, and he holds it over his head, and then he shoots this fireball at you, and then these smaller green enemies as well. The green enemies die very quickly, so usually you'll see me hit them with these missiles, which is done by pressing L1, and the main shots R2... Or it's done by hitting R1, which usually goes for the big guy. So you can see me usually aiming the main thing at the big guy. I'm trying to swipe the screen a little bit at first, just so that I can target all of the little guys with my missiles at first, like that. You can see that was a really good camp, actually. You can see all the missiles hit the guys, and then I killed the other guy very quickly. I can see me move to the next target as well. I'm backing up. I'm backing up as I'm killing those, which saves just a little bit of time. It's not really the best to do it everywhere because the ship turns kind of slow. So you have to pick your spots where you want to do that that kind of turning backwards kind of deal. Sometimes it's quicker to be facing the right way rather than turning around backwards like that. So it's kind of a pick your spot. There's these really annoying barricades here, which is meant to be used for protection against the combat, of course, but I keep bonking into them. This last one I do remember, though, is... It's open in the middle instead of the middle being locked. So it's actually opposite. The sides is where you can charge, and then there's a block in the middle. But it makes for great line work in the game. Like, you kind of have to learn where to charge to. Now right there, I did another hyper stack to get across that gap. That skips a decent chunk of the level here. We're going to charge across this here with the swing shot. And yeah, I bonked on my own bots there. That's definitely a pretty unique thing. So you can either use the grind cable that the bots can shoot out, or you can hyperstack across this gap. I like the hyperstack because I don't have to rely on the bots too much. And from what I've been told by one of the best runners, Mobius, it does save a bit of time to use the hyperstack instead. So right here, I try to do a little bit of swag with the flail. Try to get through the door, through the crack in the door, and then just kind of swing the flail inwards and stuff like that. Anyways, that was a great Valix belt, actually. That's my best one so far, for sure. A minute ahead. Let's go. Yeah, not too bad. A couple bonks here and there, of course, but yeah, I'm getting used to the general, like, you know, how to handle that planet, and it's not an easy one, so it's really sick that I'm coming into my own with that. This is Torval. This is another pretty cool planet. It's got a lot of different kind of missions. So the first one, we got these orbs that needs to be hacked that are on top of these spider bots. So first we need to throw the EMP grenade, which is done by the bots. They throw this to get the shield down. And here I shot a little bit too early with the silencer. So right here I stand between the two orbs. So this guy completes his. So he's in my vision. And then he completes the other orb over there. This is Seek and Destroy. This is probably one of the harder missions as well. Basically, I have to get up on this area here and then shoot out 6 of these kind of like things that zoom around the map. And then once I fall down like this, I walk backwards, shoot into the ceiling, and you can see I missed it right here. There's a... So I'm trying to chase them down on foot here. Basically, you normally have to ride the bike around to try and get them, but I'm using a very convoluted strat to try and kill the first 6 ahead of me and then spawn the other 6 behind me. I managed to save it there by chasing them down on foot, which is pretty sick there. But I did lose a lot of time from that, so there's an easy 20 seconds to be gained on that for sure. This one's kind of tough, actually, because what you have to do with the bike here is you have to... so again, I have to command the bots to get on the node. And I'm checking if they're on it right there. I have to get the bike close enough to the node, but then get a smooth turn towards the next direction. Just so I don't get hung up on the enemies or the bots, just so the bots behave the way they did. Now, I try to go for a bike jump there on this mission. I can basically ramp the bike up onto this platform, which is a fucking sick trick, by the way. And here you can see me using the Omni Shield. I launched it incorrectly, of course, but I normally want to put that on one side so that I don't get shot in the back. I've been interrupted there before, so I just figured why not make this come up with a strat here. So right here, we need the bots to get on this. They need to detonate this statue away. They have explosives as well that they can use. So you can see me commanding the bots in 4 different spots here, and I'm just protecting them with the flail. Pretty simple stuff. And now we get a little 15 seconds of just waiting around for the explosion to go away. The game obviously wants you to run away from the explosion. You're like, run away. It's going to explode, but you can literally stand right next to it. It does not matter. So I pull out the right weapon. So, dude, having the right weapons out at the right time is a very, very depthful part of Ratchet speedrunning that not many people realize, is what 3 weapons you have on that wheel up there, having those be correct at the right times and all the time so that they're ready to go. Because you swap weapons all the time. It's so much. So having those ready at all times is like very, very key for this run. It's also very big in Ratchet 1, where even when I became a really great Ratchet 1 runner, I was still finding ways of optimizing that weapon swapping and keeping my weapons optimal at the right time. Now, this is a long arena as well. You get some weapons each round, which is one of the cooler concepts. You saw I got the sniper in the first round here. Now we got the flail. Now we get the mines, which I'm going to try to finish the round a little bit slower here, just so that I get to place down more mines to speed up later rounds. First to take down that ship. And now we get the Vulcan here. We get the silencer on the 5th round, which is I usually call it the Arbiter because it changes the name to the silencer once we upgrade it. And then the dual Vipers right there. And I was trying to read that guy spawn, but he was a little bit late there. And this one is pretty much the only auto scroller of the run, like real auto scroller. You have to wait for 2 minutes and 30 seconds here. The final time says 2:16. That's how long you've waited for. So I'm trying to clip through this barrier here. We can skip ahead a little bit here. It's not a huge thing, but yeah, you can see. There we go. I actually got it pretty quickly, but yeah, it's a very difficult mine clip. So I clip through here, and now when I'm down in this area that I'm not supposed to be in, I can kind of just wait. It's basically just so I don't have to waste ammo or create lag or, you know, fight the marauders or fight the marauders. Fight the like gladiators and stuff like that in the arena. So I can just kind of chill here. And this is a great time for donations, right? You know, you got it. You got your 2 minutes. You got your time to plug something. There's plenty of time to plug something. You know, the sponsors and things like that, and the charity. And of course, if there's nothing at the time, but I think there will be something at the time for sure. These Ratchet games always draw in great donations and stuff like that. So I think there will be something at the time, but even if not, you know, I have stuff that I could cover as well here. But usually this is a great time for donations. So I keep the Supernova out because we're coming up to another boss. This is Eviscerator, I believe. He's this kind of bug thing. You want to shoot the Rhino and then the flail a couple times. Then he flies around in his shield, which gets penetrated by the Rhino, actually. So I have to shoot that weapon exactly, even when he gets low like that. We defeat him in around 8 seconds, 9 seconds-ish. And then we move on to Stygia, which is one of the worst planets as well. Both of the cool blue planets, Stygia and Char, are two of the toughest, like they're definitely annoying to practice, but I actually like this first mission kind of a lot, just because it's the only mission where you get to play as the landstalker. You know, if you played as the landstalker for more than one mission, it might get a little bit boring. But there's only one in the run, and I think that makes for great variety overall. That you get to use the landstalker a bit. So you can see me jumping sideways because it's a little bit faster than walking. Just holding the L2 or R2 trigger. Controlling vehicles in this game is very technical, but you have to use a lot of buttons. Again, L and R for side hopping to the left or right. I have to use the L1 button to charge these missiles, which I'm going to try to aim at this spot, which homed in on this. Basically, I'm trying to hit the ground in front because there's a little bit of splash damage on these missiles. You're probably going to see that at the end of this mission. I need to destroy that turret since I missed the first one here. I have to loop around, but normally I don't have to destroy that. So you can see me aim right at the floor here. I'm aiming at the floor rather than walking around because the splash damage from the missile gets that thing early right there. Shout out to Mobius for teaching me that. And this is Energy Collector. It's a very tough node mission where you have to, you know, just hack some nodes and you have to make some... There's some platforming between this. So we got I'm waiting for this guy to like fucking get over here. We got a swing shot set there, and then we do a flail cancel there. Normally you need to use the grind cable, of course. And yeah, we just get to the last one. It's very tough to have everything complete here. The bots can have a little bit of problems getting over these railings on the side. So whenever they're below these railings, it's kind of tough sometimes for them to like maneuver over it, which is like, you know, kind of stupid. But in a way, it's you know, it creates for some dynamic with the run in a way. But sometimes, you know, the bots are definitely like one of the more frustrating parts of the run still. But it's also very fascinating just like kind of learning how they work. Now, I missed a strat here where you can get the bots to hack a little bit earlier. Here, I'm also focusing on specific enemies. These ships behind us, for some reason, they shoot missiles down, and the missiles kind of just stop short of the bots. So I totally ignore them a lot of the time. It would be funny if I have them on screen for a while, but you can just see me like just ignoring these big ships that shoot missiles. I have no idea what you're on about, Hippo. Yeah, these ships on the side here, they just kind of miss the guys, which is really funny. You can see the missiles they just stop short. There's a range on them like this. You see, they just blow up in the air. So as long as you're like at a decent range from them, like nothing will happen. The main ones are these turrets on the floor, which have really powerful laser beams like this. But yeah, basically the bots go around in a circle, and that's the mission. I don't know what that is. Next up is shield survival, where we are mainly going to be using the silencer, like so. We're going to shoot it into the ground like this. and it's going to blow up all three sides because we got some differing spawns here. Now, I knew I was going to run out of ammo here, so I decided to run in with the flail, which turned out pretty decently. That was an okay strat, but usually you shouldn't run out of ammo in that spot. So that was a decent Stygia. I mean, I got everything on the first try, pretty much. A little bit of time loss on the landstalker, but overall not too bad. It's also nice to be watching this run back because I can tell where I lost time and things like that, and I can definitely see myself on the verge of a 43 and definitely a 42 as well with more practice. So this is the first mission of Maraxis, which is a great late game planet. A lot of focus on movement, and we got this this node mission as well, which is the only mission with the Puma. So again, just more variety. This is what it's called, the Puma. I mean, we rode the Puma for like a second in the early game on Sarathos, but you know, we exit the vehicle pretty much immediately. So I'm using the map here to tell, just to see. I can see the bot is a little bit slow on his node, so I'm waiting for him to get on the next one. Basically, the thing with this mission is that, or this planet, is that one of your bots has been captured, so you need to free him. So you only have one bot for this mission. So I bonk here, and I kind of hit this thing where... yeah, so I bonk there, and I pretty much just clear the enemies there, make sure that the bot can get there on time. So I'm like... That bonk, I was like, okay, the bot's going to be not late. He's probably right behind me, which you could definitely see by the minimap. He hacks the last node. It opens up this door. And now we're in lead, no man behind, where we can more or less get to the end of the level by clipping through this wall. There's a second mine clip we need to do, which sometimes is really tough for some reason, but I've been kind of killing it lately. Second try is perfectly fine on that one. That barrier is just a little bit thicker than most of the other ones. So right here, the bot's struggling to get the cable to work over to the other area. So I'm trying to push him onto it, which is just like really silly. Usually they don't have issues with that. And again, this mission, you're supposed to free the bot in the middle and then make your way over to the end here. But if you just make your way through that gate, the mission just ends. So there's a lot of really short missions, and then there's the long Puma mission. I really like Maraxis. I think it's actually a really sick late game planet.
That just sounds like someone wants to fight, though.
Okay, final tournament off the run. We're coming close to the end here. This is the Liberator tournament. And this one has a couple of missions and then has kind of the game's sort of antagonist in a way. Ace Hardlight, who's just kind of this big shot in the tournament that, you know, he's in all the commercials and things like that. So we got to beat him. So another pretty big arena here. This one is one of definitely on my to-do list to practice because there's a lot of these ships that you see above. I'm looking at the minimap to see when they spawn. So I try my best to shoot a missile into the ground so that I can clear both the ground enemies and the ships coming in on at the same time. But I definitely would like to spend a little bit more time with the mission. Right here, you can see me shooting these bombs, and then I'm trying to look down to reduce some lag because this weapon is a little bit laggy. This is the only time you see the Mega B11 Vaporizer. It's just a bomb, basically, that the flail usually handles a little bit better. But it definitely does have its uses. I do believe the world record uses this weapon on Shield Survival, which I was just on Stygia, the last mission of that. But yeah, overall, that's that mission. That's a pretty long one. And here's a rather boring arena mission here. This is just mostly spamming the flail. And again, just looking down to reduce some lag. The enemies spawn in kind of predictable patterns. This one I definitely could use a little bit of practice on as well. If you spam the flail too much here, you'll run out of ammo. So I'm being a little bit conservative. But I also sometimes get some drops, so that's really nice.
I just call it Deadlocked. It just sounds better.
And at the end of this mission, I do believe I try to pull out the Supernova, aka the Rhino, because I get to face off against Ace. Although I do need the flail to still be out because I need to hit him exactly with a certain combo, which I'll talk about when we get there.
I need to look down, by the way, to reduce some lag here.
So I charge towards Ace. I do 1, 2, 3. I swap to the Rhino. And then I just shoot the Rhino, and then I hit him with the flail again, and he dies very quickly. So now we're heading to the final level of the game. Well, second to last level. It's the final planet of the run before we head to the interior of the Dread Zone area. So this is Ghost Station. This is one of my favorite levels in the game. It is a phenomenal area of the game. It's so sick. And it's got these great movement levels, and then it's got escape, which is like one of the most, at least to me, one of the most beloved ship missions in the run. It's so dope to practice. So here's the grinding chase, a very infamous casual level. Everybody loves this level. It's like the first kind of like, long grind rail section that you have to do. But we skipped most of that with a hyperstack. And right here, we normally need to defeat some enemies and walk around the map to get these nodes to get that barrier to go down. But we can very easily get around it with a... in fact, I'm going to show that again. I'm going to get on the ledge, charge off the ledge, swing the flail midair, swap weapons so that I'm in a falling state, and then swing the wrench to make it across. Very technical stuff. Next up is Prison Break. This one can be kind of tough. The mine clips are kind of rough. And the final room is actually very interesting. This is one of the ones where ending the objective is kind of a unique thing. Normally, it's just like hack some nodes and things like that. But we actually get to the end of the level here by destroying some screens. So I use some movement there to get up that little, the little like, metal area sort of thing. So right here, I'm blowing this up. I'm blowing up these screens, which is actually what ends the level. And then I'm trying to destroy the last one. Normally, you actually use the sniper for that one, but I had the flail out. So I just decided to use this. Yeah, so this is escape. You have to destroy 33 power nodules. And then you have to destroy 9 turrets. But on the counter on the right, the turrets only show up after you destroy the nodes. But we know exactly where everything is. I know where all the nodes are, and I know where all the turrets are. So I know the exact order that I need to shoot this in. And this is very, very optimizable. If you spam this mission over and over again, just keep playing it, you'll get better at it. And it feels great to improve at escape. It's one of the most fun missions I've had practicing in this game. It's actually really great. So you can see me just destroying the nodes slowly but surely here. Slowly but surely. Destroying this turret, and then I'm making my way up because I know the next nodes are really high up here. So here's the final 4. I destroy this, and then I make my way down to these final 2 turrets. And a great time for this mission, I would say a good time is below a minute. So I got a 103 there. That's not too bad. But I mean, Jokari's world record is 38:40:46. He's since improved it since. He's gotten a 49 on that, which is absolutely nuts. My best is a 51 in an IL, so I've still got ways to go with that for sure. Now here I charge past the ship's control level, and this is the final level of the game. This is the interior of the Dread Zone area, which has some of the hardest missions. So I mentioned the one on Char being really difficult. The second most difficult mission is the one after this one. So this is the east generator, and then there's the west generator and the central generator. So this is the east one. We can get to the end of the level pretty quickly by just clipping out of bounds, going through the wall, and then hyperstacking up to the level. This is one of the longer hyperstacks in the run. It's quite intense at the end of the level. If you drop it, then you fall all the way down. So I try to make it really smoothly, and I do just that. I, in fact, skipped the last hyperstrike there. Now I need the bots to blow up this. I believe just with the way I took through the level, I probably skipped some enemy spawn triggers, which makes this ending really nice, so I don't have to make the game lag and protect the bots and stuff like that. So I'm talking about the next skip, which is this is pretty much one of the hardest levels in the game, if not the hardest. So you can clip through this door, this part is not hard. This mine clip is the hardest mine clip in the game, and this is what makes this level really tough. I need to place it in such a specific spot, because if I'm too far forward with it, it'll push me into the space area, and I die. Now, I jumped right there. I was actually out of bounds for a second there, and I was like, oh. So then I clipped back in, which was really unfortunate. I was out. I want to be clipped outside of the intended game area, right there. That was really lucky. I managed to still land out of bounds instead of falling out. Really good adaptation. I've practiced this a good amount. So I go a little bit right. I turn the camera, and then I do a charge flail cancel in midair into a hyperstack into this room. Very difficult stuff. And it doesn't even save that much time. It's just like 10, 12, 15 seconds. But it's really good at the end of a run to save that time. And I definitely think I saved time with it still. maybe breaking even roughly. But I have gotten that clip first try a couple times. And, I want to get good at the game, so I have to learn some of the harder stuff. This bot is having some trouble with the detonators. But yeah, overall, this is a very difficult level. Once I got that, I kind of knew this is it. This is a big PB for sure. I knew it had a great chance. And so I just wait for this bot to blow this up. And we got some more cool movement on the next one. We got a really unique clip out of this room. So we basically go over here, and I swing the flail into this wall, and I try to throw the wrench up the wall, hold the mines out in this area, and it clips me backwards, pushes me through the wall. I don't know who found this clip, but dude, that is such a sick clip. And it gets us more or less to the end of the level as well. So good stuff there. Yeah, so right here I use the Omni Shield, just because, again, to take down this turret, we need the bots to throw the bomb at them, which they need to be hacking. They need to be destroying the core here, the central core. They need to be destroying that. So instead of dealing with that spider bot, I just put a shield up in front of it, and it can't touch the bots. I don't really want to kill that guy because he spawns a bunch of enemies, and they could end up distracting the bots and stuff like that. But I fortunately killed him late enough for that not to matter. And here is Gleeman Vox, who is the final boss. He's kind of this guy we've been throughout the cutscenes, who's kind of been on keeping Ratchet here and other stuff. It's story related basically. And right here we shoot our final rhino. I'm excited. I can definitely tell this is a PB. And there we go. That's a 44-48. That's basically it. I think this run is really, really sick, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And for the people here on YouTube, hopefully you enjoyed the explanation of the run. If you want to check out an explanation of the load cancel mechanic, it's a little bit outdated, but I have a video from 5 years ago that explains when the trick was found and kind of a little bit about how it went down. I have that on my main channel, but it is definitely not up to par with like my current productions. But, it's just like some of my earlier production, which is, kind of charming in a way as well. But pretty much that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this run. I can't wait to improve in this category when I have the time. And I will definitely be top 3 if by the time this reaches ESA. And yeah, so thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching. And thank you, ESA, for considering Deadlocked. Peace out.